here. I also have Moonfolk, which is kind of a pun on Tamio. Um, I think this is also going to be kind of an obvious shell, right? Harbinger of the Seas is a merfolk. Urza Saga is something that some people have tried in merfolk in the past, and we even did kind of well in a league a few months, like 3 months ago, with a shell that was very similar to this. But that it was very funny. Like there was very much a tension between can you play Harbinger and Urza Saga together? Was like the big tension with that build. That was like the big question mark. Now you just can play both. I think Tideshaper is also still kind of cool with the Harbinger, where you can like turn their basics into islands and like totally lock your opponent out. Important also to have like 1 mana Merfolk for Sylvoon and Hexcatcher too. One thing I really like about this build is the ability to have Cavern of Souls plus Chalice of the Void post board when you want to bring in Chalice against like Izzet and Boros. And you can play 1 Chalice in the main deck too. You can also name Wizard on Cavern, and this is going to cast Tamio and most of your Merfolk, which is pretty cool. I think there's 1 Merfolk that's not a wizard, right? Oh, it's Sylvoon. Sylvoon is a Merfolk god. Every other Merfolk. And Drowner is just a regular Merfolk too. So we're gonna be playing the Urza build in the challenge today. I know whenever I like pull up this deck list, the mana curves always get so messed up. I usually count Thoughtcast as a 2 for mana curves, although obviously you cast it for 1 kind of often. I count Forces as 0, but really liking the mana curve of this deck after you lay it all out. Some Captain Cannoneers got moved to the sideboard to make room for the Harbingers of the main. A few other changes too, like we're playing Split of Force and Rebuke. Last time we played the list, we were not playing any main deck forces. They were in the sideboard. But I also want to play a league of this deck before we get into a league with the Merfolk deck. So usually on challenge days, I'm playing the backup deck in the leagues, and I'm playing the main deck in the challenge. But I want to get like an extra league in with this one, so do it a little bit different than we usually do. Gonna have to mulligan this one. A little bit too high of a mana curve. This hand's definitely a lot better. So we can turn to Thoughtcast even if we don't draw a land. I'm thinking if I want to put back the second Thoughtcast or if I want to put back the Rebuke. I think on the play, we'll put back the Rebuke. This could be a little greedy. Hey, Claustro, doing well. How are you doing? Want to play the Opal in case they have a Thoughtseize turn 1. Obligatory, did I consider Ryo? Yeah, we have played a Ryo in this archetype, and it has not been good. It has just been, like, not even, like, a very effective card at all to have. So unfortunately, the Tamio dies. Definitely not what you want to see here. We're up against Domain Zoo. Gonna have to cycle this Bauble. Hope to find some stuff. Ah! Classic affinity problems. Do you have a link to my Blue-Red Wizards Whisper Modern? I have a link to all of the deck lists I play in the Mox field, and you can go into the Mox field. You can type any card you're looking for, and you can find it. Definitely loving that site. As far as the Wizards deck goes, I think some people may have wanted to try. Oh, the 4th Thoughtcast got hit by the Ragavan. It's funny. I'll take like 1 more draw. The Harbinger might just like be slammed and win the game next turn. Funny enough. As far as like Izzet Wizards goes, there's like 2 or 3 pretty big cards for Izzet coming from Final Fantasy. There's the blue-red card where you cast a non-creature spell, deal damage, put a counter. There's also the whenever you scry or surveil, draw a card. So I decided to wait on these kind of shells, or those kind of shells, until Final Fantasy comes out, which is why we're sticking with mono red yesterday and mono blue today. All right, let's go to game 2. Havoc with the 40 months. They will come back. Focus with the 30. Awkward mulligan. If the Tamio lives, then this hand is like just good. Obviously, that's how it goes with mulligan Tamio hands actually pretty often. Sideboarding is going to be kind of weird. Like the Harbingers, I think are just very good in this matchup. I'm going to cut all the Force of Negations. They are a Flage deck usually, so I'm going to play the Soul Guide Lantern. I think I want both of the Dismembers. Spell Snares hits only Kavu and Flame. Sometimes they play Frog. Sometimes they play the Flash 1/2 ETB effects don't trigger. There's also, like, I think is in theory a Kappa Cannoneer matchup, but I think when I'm bringing in the Harbingers, my curve is too high to actually bring in the Kappa Cannoneers. I think I want the Aether Spell Bomb. So maybe I move away from these on the draw. Well, I guess these are actually, maybe these aren't as good as I think they are, because if they just have a ley line, these do nothing. You know what? I think I'm actually gonna buy that and then move into the Cannoneers instead. It's just too high variance. Like if they don't have a ley line, it could be just 3 mana win the game, and if they do have a ley line, it can be 3 mana do nothing. So I think I'd rather just move away from them. I like Consign over Counterspell. I think I'm kind of down for a 3-3 split. Counterspell hits a lot of things that Consign doesn't. Especially on the play, just being able to Counterspell a copy. But I think I like a 3-3. I've been playing 4 Consign sometimes against them, and it's like, it's a bit much. Alright, let's try this hand. A little Artifact Light. Have ever played Snakes in Modern? Do I think it could work? Simic or maybe Bant? I've never played dedicated Snakes. There's what is that one card that's like you like deal combat damage or sack a snake, or you have to sack a snake and their lands don't untap. Because of course to play a Kindred deck, you need a payoff, right? You need a payoff for for playing a deck like this, and to me it doesn't really seem like that card is like a good enough payoff, but I don't know, maybe. All right, hopefully this is a Binding or a Scion so we can consign it. Nice. Back up Tamio. Back up! Had the Benamo to go with the Emery potentially. Didn't mill any other helpful artifacts. Not yet. Maybe a Flage. But which will Flage go after? They go after the Emery, which I think makes sense, especially with the Manamo in play. So now I have 3 artifacts, so I can go ahead and flip Tamio. I draw both of my Dismembers. It's kind of funny. Play a new Tamio. Let's go to combat. Might need to fade Arena of Glory on the Flage. Or I could just return Metallic Rebuke. Let's do that. So do I want to play... Yeah, I think I want to play the extra Tamio, so let's go. This one, this is going to be kind of painful with the Dismember too, but that's kind of the nice thing about having a mostly painless mana base is you don't mind that as much. But if you know it can make it work, it's you. You know what's funny is I don't really like the attitude of I can make it work because I'm such a good deck builder. What I like to think I do is I like to try to find things that do work instead of trying to force something to work. That attitude has always been, I think, a lot better. You try to find good synergies, find underplayed cards, find metagame solutions that exist that other people aren't exploring. Because I'm not making new cards, and I don't really believe in trying to make things work. I try to believe in finding things that do work. All right, they keep a card on top. They can't go Arena of Glory, Flage, and hold up a counterspell here. They do have a Leyline Binding, which I'm not going to fight over, of course. They go after the unflipped Tamio. And the regular Tamio. If they have a counterspell that counters the Urza, and I don't draw a land for Rebuke, it's pretty bad, although I have drawn the Mox Opal. So let's go Urza first here. I know this has probably been explained to death. Why does Saga get to keep Constructability under Moon Effect? Layers. It applies in a different layer. Can boost with the 43 months. Thank you. Welcome back. That's something, huh? Okay, so they seem like they're gonna wait to play around the rebuke. Obviously, they know around about the rebuke, so that seems fine. I'm gonna go ahead and sack one clue. I think drawing that, Mock Sapphire, we can sack a second clue here. So I have 7. I can play Kappa Cannoneer with Counterspell and Consign Up if I don't attack with the Construct. Yeah, I think that's going to be the safest here. Yeah, if it's on chapter 1, it stays a mana producing land. It always like taps for an island, or taps for a blue or red, depending on if it's blue moon or red moon. Cross the 17 months. Welcome back. What changes in Modern made Domain so popular again? Honestly, like it's just been like well positioned, and it took people like a few weeks to figure out that it's like the metagame kind of for a moment was Boros Prowess combo, and Domain is like incredible in that metagame. Was Sapphire Medallion consideration at all? Artifact synergies, 3+ mana spells. Maybe it's okay. We have talked about Sapphire Medallion in these kind of decks. I don't really believe in it. I think if I was going to play like a 2-mana artifact, it'd be Chalice of the Void. Like it does curve into Urza specifically kind of well, and I would like it maybe more if we had like maybe Thought Monitor in the deck. But like it is possible one copy is correct, but I'm not a huge believer. Sorry, sometimes I know tap Mox Opal for blue with Urza. I don't know why I do that sometimes. What is this? Okay, rest in peace, Sweet Construct. They have 1 card left in their hand here. Let's go ahead and spin the Urza. They could have Ragavan in their hand. It's very small. I think it's okay to play around it. So they play Arena of Glory. They are 1 card shy of escaping the Flage right now. Notably, I can block the Flage and dismember it to kill it if they haste it this turn. Okay, so my Rebuke is not going to get them. So I think if a trigger goes at Urza, I should be. Let's see. This is gonna cost me 2. Yeah, I'm just gonna counter the second Flage trigger here, and then we're gonna go down to 5, which is not the best life total to be at against Domain, because they play Flames. But they probably have a 1-turn window to top deck it, and we have some outs we could draw too. Sorry, I keep doing this stupid moxin. Alright, spin. Okay, don't really care much about Ragavan anymore, so... Getting in with both, lethal next turn, dead to a Flames. Alright, going to game 3. Oh, the draw counterspell is significantly worse. A little bit worried about second Cannoneer on the draw too. Oh yeah, but now I'm to block Ragavan, right? I was just thinking I could sign the trigger is all I felt like we needed to. Maybe I'm overthinking the counterspell a little bit. We're a Moxin deck too. Valis, 9 months. Watch one of YouTube videos that Kotar Mass Effect top games, or in my top games all the time. Yeah, for sure. Definitely grew up with those. Kotar may be edged out to like number 6, so this is like also being generous, like putting like lumping like series like Mass Effect and Dark Souls together. We have Lantern for Flage. I don't think we need the Crypt. Yeah, Snare is just a little. I mean, like if they're playing Bowmaster or Frog, like we would see in those, then like the first Snare can get in a little bit more comfortably. where the Harbinger are good against 4 color. The problem is if they have a ley line of the Guild Pact, Harbinger does nothing. If they don't have it, it does everything. So it's so high variance that I feel like I would just rather not play at that high variance of a game against them. I think let's run this back. I think I'm overthinking it a little bit. I think Harbinger overrides Leyline unless they change the new rules later that video. So it does override Leyline, but if they have a single basic land, which like it's very easy for them to get if they have a Leyline in play, then they don't really care about the Harbinger. But yes, it does override the Guild Pack. But a good player will just, they'll get a base. I did play Expedition 33. It's definitely in my top 5. I haven't finished all the side stuff yet, though. A monkey? Maybe a Flames here. Maybe a Kavu. Do you have a VV list to try? Is the card good or bait? We're gonna. I haven't. The card isn't out. We haven't played it yet. We will be playing it next week. So tune in. All right. So let's go. Mox Amber first. Opal. We can play Saga and we can play Tamiya with a consign up. We will definitely be trying it, but I can't tell you if it's good or bad yet. The card isn't out yet. I think you can watch my YouTube video and see my pre-release thoughts, but those are usually not quite completely informed. So if the new rule will allow for an Obosh-style mid-range deck, we can't play Bobble or Opal in your Saga decks if that's the case, which is potentially a problem. Although Obosh is pretty good, we top 4 the challenge with Karuga lately. It's like those are definitely kind of the 2 good companions left. What does my opponent have that they fetched main phase for a basic and then just passed? A Wear Tear? Well, I didn't like being right. Do I want to Psycho Lorien revealed? I think yes. I think I am attacking too. Just have to refill a little bit. I just want to play Vivi in a bad BVVPO deck. Yeah, your life will probably improve once you stop thinking about paradoxical outcome in Modern, unless they print some really busted enabler for it. And I don't really think Vivi is that card. Okay, they played the Emery. I guess they're going to try to mill over a Flage. Okay, they did not mill over a Flage, thankfully. Don't think we're supposed to consign either of these triggers. Well, they've now got a pretty full graveyard. Is the Saga change gonna majorly change Modern? Well, what's majorly? It is gonna change Modern. Yeah, it is a very, very big dynamic for deck building. It's just a very weird big deal in general, I think. All right, probably dead. Yeah, gonna lose to the Flage. It's a big deal for sure. It might make Saga unplayable. Yeah, it's like there are still a lot of things that keep it in check. I think it opens up the metagame in kind of an interesting way. It's not a change that I really approve of, but we're here, so we're gonna test it. They're probably gonna ban Saga anyways, just not yet. Maybe I've been reflecting on this a lot. This rule change just made me reflect on this, and it's like the design philosophy for MH2 was so different from MH3, where the big cards from MH2 like Ragavan, Murktide, Urza Saga, Like I think that like Grief Scam was a big exception to this, or like Shardless Agent. Like my thesis is that if you wanted to be good against these cards, you could be. Like if you like for the with the exception of Grief Scam, I think every card in MH2, like if you wanted to metagame against it, it was really easy to like blow out those cards. Saga, like maybe like the biggest example of that. If you want to blow out Urza Saga, there's a million cards that do it. There still are a million cards that do it. You compare that to the MH3 cards: Guide of Souls, Also Pride, Ajani, Flage, Sowing Microspawn, K Command, Ugin's Labyrinth, Nadu, and it's like Tamiyo Utu to some extent. It's like these cards are very difficult to just be very good against. It's very difficult to just be super good against these cards. And I think that that's really interesting. And I think that also metagames tend to be better and more dynamic when more metagaming is possible, when more like maneuvering around stuff is possible. So I would kind of dislike a Saga ban. I think I like the polarizing nature of it. I think in general I just am a fan. Like yeah, last game my opponent wear-teared the Saga and I lost the game because of it, and it's like, oh, they were ready and they are rewarded for being ready. Where it's like against Boros, you sideboard 4 Pyroclasm and pray pray that it's enough sometimes. Tough to be on the draw here. Have they ever banned a card because a rule change made it stronger? I don't know. There's like the Cascade Valky stuff where they changed the rules to stop that from working, which is kind of adjacent to that. So yeah, again, I guess to summarize or whatever, for me, like if you were going to ban stuff in Modern, I would want it to be the stuff that is harder to interact with. The stuff that like just kind of is always good or like good enough no matter what the metagame looks like. And so, I don't know. For me, I really like Urza Saga. All right, in this matchup, I want to be bringing in the Snares, the Cannoneers. I not the Needle. I'm not really sure about the Dismembers against them, but I think I want at least the first copy. I want to be cutting the Harbingers of the Forces. I want to cut the Aether Spellbomb. I don't think it's really good against Boros, so I get more for matchups like Dimir and Domain Zoo. Ban of Johnny, bring back Amp Raptor. I mean, Raptor was very, very broken too, and one of these cards that's like impossible to interact with favorably. I disagree. MH2 power level was overall higher in that cards like Monkey, Murktide, Saga, Elementals can go in every deck. MH3 besides Frog has all been relegated to a single deck. They're more powerful in their vacuum, the deck they're specialized in, but less overall for any deck. I guess I just like so to say you know in Magic, like we have an axis always of power level versus versatility. This is something I talk about a lot: power level versus versatility. The power level of MH3 cards are like almost just objectively higher than MH2. Yes, they go in, and I would also say that, like, in my opinion, the fact that the MH2 cards go in more decks is also a big selling point for like how much better that set was than MH3. Like they're versatile. The deck building is really interesting. They go in a lot of decks. It's very dynamic. It's like like you could do so many things with them. Versus like I even just agree completely that like that the MH3 cards mostly just go on one deck. Even Psychic Frog like mostly goes in one deck. It goes in like a handful of like other fringe decks too. So it's like. I think it's actively a good thing. It's actively a good thing that these cards go in a lot of strategies. I think it's super important that your cards are very versatile and you could use them in a lot of different combinations. So I don't know. That's how I see it, at least. How often do you talk about image sets? Well, I'm a Modern streamer, so not as often as I used to, but pretty often. Wouldn't you agree that Luris was good? Wouldn't you agree then that Luris was good? Luris enabled 10 decks when it was legal in Modern. I feel like this is a very odd argument. I don't even understand what you're getting at. I don't understand the question or like the gotcha that seems like you're trying to have. Lurrus is also like such a weird card. It like doesn't even like function in like Magic the Gathering almost. It's like I don't understand the comparison even. Lurrus was very powerful for sure. Was it good for the modern format? I would say Lurrus is even like a big exception to that too because it restricted deck building because it was a companion, right? It like Lurrus is like a deck building restrictor in a way that we're not talking about. It isn't a gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I just don't even understand your point. I'm genuinely trying to understand your point. Yeah, I'm confused. I think they're saying Lurrus is good for the format because it went in a lot of decks. Yeah, I mostly think Lurrus is just is such a weird card. Like it's just hard to compare it to anything. I don't feel like obviously the only qualifier for cards being good is not that they go in a lot of decks, but I would say in general that's a point in their favor. Is that maybe a good way to put it? Like just in general, if a card goes in a lot of decks, that is that I think for me that's something I like about it. I think if I could just pick a format where cards go only in one deck versus cards going in a lot of decks, I'm gonna pick the format where I get to play cards in a lot of different combinations. No Thoughtcast? Did we have mana to Thoughtcast last turn? I didn't think we did. I could cap a Cannoneer this turn, but I probably need to hold up the counterspell for the Flage, right? The ring seems like a big exception to that rule. Yeah, like again, it's not that this is if a card goes in a lot of decks, I just like it forever. But like, I just think in general it's better that way than the way where cards only go in one deck. I think that sucks too. Really wish we cast Thoughtcast our turn. Well, didn't I have to tap my construct to cast the Thoughtcast? I guess I had the Urza as a blocker too. The Thoughtcast cost 2 last turn, right? We had Opal tapped, Needle, and Construct untapped. Yeah, I'd have had to tap the Construct, but I guess maybe that would have just been fine. Yeah. Now they get to escape the Flage, and we probably lose. Image 2 and Image 3 brought along permanent that costs more than 2, making Lurrus a real condition. Bans seem premature as a meta. Lurrus was the one of people who think the Lurrus was wrongly banned or could be unbanned. Like I just don't understand this perspective ever. Lurrus is like maybe the #1 card I would never unban on the ban list. Okay, no. Nadu is above Lurrus. I would unban Hogak before Lurrus. I would unban Eye of Ugin before Lurrus. Like, not anymore. And actually, no. I would put Eye of Ugin over Lurrus still. So Ugin's probably like my number 3. Lurrus is probably my number 3. Never unban. Okay, I feel like let's switch over to the Merfolk deck. Maybe we'll YOLO Merfolk in the challenge over Blazing Shoal. Yeah, Blazing Shoal is not. I would not unban Blazing Shoal, but like surely Blazing Shoal is not like a top 10 card on the ban list even. Yeah. Also, Lurrus was legal in Modern for so long. It was legal in Modern for way too long. Nadu, Beans, Eye of Ugin. Yeah, Beans maybe over Lurrus too. Probably not. Probably Lurrus over it. Yeah, I think only Nadu and Eye of Ugin I would not unban over Lurrus, which of course is just a dumb conversation, but it's like Lurrus was so unreasonable. It was just so unreasonable. It was one of like it was just, so awful. I don't know if I'm cracking this bobble or not. If you had to unban Lurrus and Bean simultaneously, would they keep you there checking anyway? This is no, no. Oh, are they playing our Jewel control deck? So if they are playing that deck, then if they're on, like they have like Portable Hole and Dispatch, they may have a hard time dealing with the Imri. But usually like two busted cards don't keep each other in check. They just like make the entire format revolve around them in a really negative way. What if they're on Harbinger Saga? They might be. Yeah, they're playing Monument. They're probably playing that build. Let's see if they flip the Tamio here. Harbinger would be a good draw. Oh no, I'm playing Merfolk. Is Harbinger plus Moon for redundancy a good idea? I don't think so. You don't really need that many of these effects. All right, got Scepter Chanted. Nice list. Opponent Brewing. They're playing our build, I think. Hold on, let me pull it up. Kind of weak to Chalice on one. Dispatch Chant. Tamio Jewel. It's a little bit weird to bring in the Needle when we're bringing in the Chalices, or if we bring in the Chalices, though. They don't seem... They're Opal decks, so I don't think they're very weak to Harbinger. The Tideshaper is also, like... We could maybe target a Saga, but... you have to get it, like, right away. I don't know if that's going to be a good plan. Like, figuring out that kind of sideboarding is still a little confusing for me. The Drowners also seem bad. They're just on Saga tokens and Tamio, so maybe the Tideshapers get back in. You could also target, like, a Hinge. Yeah, I've been liking the Black-Red deck. Wish we had, like, a slightly deeper run yesterday. Maybe it's good to, I guess we could cut the Shadow Spear and leave in the Aether Spellbomb so we can Imri Spellbomb constructs. Can also, like, protect the Urza from a, or sorry, this is the Merfolk build, but can protect some creatures from removal. Interesting one-lander. So next turn we can go 1 mana Imri and equip. We can also play Chalice next turn if we draw a land. I think I'll be keeping this on the play. It's pretty borderline. Was it a mold of 5? Voidwalker felt great in the Flametongue slot. Yeah, that might be good. I was really just wanting to be a bit better against Boros, which Voidwalker isn't, and I wanted to have more ETB effects for the Nightmare. But I agree that that's like Voidwalker is fine with Nightmare too. I've been on the fence about adding Vexing Bauble to my Saga Shell. Do you have any issue with that in my 10-0 drops? No, because you just sack the Bauble. So I was hoping to be able to equip the boots. I guess I could equip the boots if I played my Chalice on 0, but I don't really want to have to do that. Yeah, if you need to play the 0 drop from your hand, you can just sack it. A lot of time what you can do with Imri also is you can like sack the Vexing Bauble, play the 0 from your hand, and then just replay the Vexing Bauble off the Imri. Okay, so they also kept a 1-lander. Alright, they found their second land. So hopefully they put a 1 underneath. They put a counter spell underneath, okay. Draw an Amber. Flipping this Tamio seems good, although they could have Portable Holes, so I guess we're going to need to do that after... after we Chalice on 1. I'm going to go ahead and get a Tideshaper down to... Oh, wait, sorry, I don't have my Cavern still available. Then we'll just sack a Clue token. Should have Tide Shapered first. For some reason, I thought I still would have the Cavern for the Merfolk. Although Saga is obviously a great draw into Scepter counterspell. Can Chalice on 2. I feel like I don't want to Chalice on 2 first, but because then I can't Chalice on 1. But obviously they have the Scepter counterspell. Okay, we lose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So next turn I can attack with an 8 power construct, maybe. I don't really know how they beat that because the Chalice on 1 turns off Portable Hole, Dispatch, and Orm's Chant, which would be all of their answers. Is Moonfolk a typo or a joke? I mean, we're playing Harbinger of the Seas, which is often called Blue Moon, and we're playing Merfolk, and we also have a Moonfolk here. So, you get it. Come on. We also could have Tide Shapered our Saga, maybe. Although I think we just kind of can't lose here. We have a... I don't think I was playing Sync into the Stupor. Was attacking with Imri there worth not replaying the Opal? Well, I have another Opal here, so I mean, I don't think it matters a lot because I built the deck and I know I can't lose. But yeah, but maybe second clue is better. Tide Shaper into Chalice. Well, we have the Cavern, so we can get through it. That's one nice thing here is that you can go Cavern on Wizard, and all of your 1-drops are still playable through Chalice. I guess not your artifacts though. What will be the challenge deck? I don't know. I almost want to YOLO the Merfolk build. The mana curve of the Urza build is feeling a bit high, but I thought cutting the Cannoneers would be fine. These builds are kind of high variance. Okay, that's a good draw. Took second place, replacing Skimmer with Dredger's Insight. My prowess of Boris every minute. Nice. Yeah, we played both of those cards together in a build that was playing the Soul Trader combo. I think I'm going to force this, and then if I just play Chalice on 1 next turn, then my Tamiyo is going to be very protected. Challenge is in about 10 minutes, so we got to make a decision quick. I think I want to YOLO the Merfolk list. Not better just flip the Tamiyo. Well, the problem is they're a Portable Hole deck, right? So if we just flip the Tamiyo, then if they're on Portable Hole, it's a disaster. But now that we have the Chalice in play, then we have a Tamiyo that can't die, and it's growing our Saga tokens, and we got a bunch of clues. What do you think about Modern right now? It's been very, very fun like the last 2 weeks. I think like the 3 weeks before that were a little stale, whereas like just all Boros and Prowess, but now the metagame seems to be finally moving a little bit. And I'm excited for Final Fantasy. Post Dragon Storm immediately was like, that was like the best. That was like the best Modern's been in so long. I wonder how possible it is to play Chalice of the Void over Counterspell, and maybe we could play Caverns for Tamiyos. I don't know. It's maybe a little sus. I'm gonna grab a Vexing Bauble here. Okay, we want to know. Let's YOLO the Merfolk deck. Yeah. I built Merfolk this morning, same list with yours, -1 Chalice, +1 Cure, 3 mana 1. Yeah, I had 1 3 mana Cure the last time I played this archetype. But I just wanted the first Chalice instead, I guess. Like in theory, if you're doing the Saga Merfolk thing, you're gonna have more mana sinks. Will Tron be stronger with Poo Poo UFO? I think I can. I don't remember Poo Poo UFO. I remember that was a. That's now a Magic card name. I think the new cards are on Magic Online though. First Kiora for Savoon. Savoon's like the best card in your deck. I think you just have to play 4 of that. I don't know. I don't think this is a playable modern card. I don't know. I would just play a Talisman over this basically every time in Mono Blue Tron. It's a functional walking atlas. Yeah, I don't. not a fan of this one. Graves is better. Yeah, I mean, like Sakura Tribe Scout, which is like a 1-mana version of this card, doesn't even see any play. I mean, it's kind of like a cool design space, but like 0-4 is obviously better than 1-1. But I would just not really go too deep. But these cards are just like slow, card disadvantage, fragile. Like you just rather play something that actually ramps you for the most part. 5 minutes till the challenge is starting. I guess I should change the title. Squee, the 67 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm gonna play this Merfolk list in the challenge, using the new Saga rules, so we can play main deck Harbinger. This deck gets to play Chalice a lot better than the other build because of Cavern, which I think is my main selling point. Could cut one of these 1-drops maybe for another Chalice. I think I want all of them. Game 1 and just move more into Chalice. Cut a lot of them post board. Against Boris, you cut like the boots and the bauble. I remember Flepid's Drowner really impressed me last time I played this deck, so it's still in there, and it was like okay yesterday, but we'll see how it goes today. I think last time we played this, there was like a lot more Demir and Orzhov, but also like I think it's just like I really underestimated how good like instant speed stun counters were. Like you just get to totally knock something out of commission for 2 turns and then get rid of it permanently if you need to. Is Ashiok playable in the sideboard? Well, for Neoform, we have main deck Vexing Bauble, we have sideboard Force of Negations, we have main deck Hexcatcher, so I don't think we need an Ashiok. And obviously Ashiok's also good against Titan board, main decking Harbingers, so less necessary for that too. Hope testing goes cool and the changes are impactful. I think the changes are definitely going to be impactful, I think. Yesterday, like the Blood Moon stuff was like a little bit too interesting to not think that. We also have Final Fantasy coming out Tuesday. I might take Monday off to just like deck build so we can do longer streams. I'm gonna try to be here Monday though. Do you want to shred my mono red Eldrazi list apart and tell me it's bad? I mean, if it has Eldrazi Linebreaker, I don't even need to look at it because it's like there's just not a reason to register Linebreaker. Like your mid-range Eldrazi, like you're just casting Emrakul the Promised End on turn 4 often enough that like there's like not a reason to like try to kill your opponent turn 4 with Glaring Fleshraker and be like way more fragile and inconsistent. For me, that was the moment I forgot about Linebreaker forever. It was like when I just kept getting Emrakul Promised End on turn 4 over and over and over again. It's like why does anybody try to kill their opponent with Linebreaker turn 4? They implemented the rule change early, which ended up working out good, so we can explore it and then actually playtest the Final Fantasy cards without also having this to try at the same time. I just want to have Saga and Blood Moon with Eldrazi. Yeah, I wouldn't really recommend playing Eldrazi Temple Blood Moon. I'll take a look, I guess. Yeah, I don't really think Eldrazi Temple Blood Moon is a combo. Ugin's Labyrinth Blood Moon's kind of a combo because you can play it turn 2. Any Sephiroth decks in mind? Yeah. I've got like a few weird builds of like Soul Trader and Yawgmoth I want to try. There's also like Sam combo stuff. I'm really excited for Sephiroth. I think that card might just end up being the best card in the set. Might end up being whatever. Also, I'm having a hard time with it. Yeah, it's just like you have to have both of your waste in play if you want to K command with Blood Moon out, which sucks. Or I guess I have a Flesh Raker and cast Cola spells. Yeah, it's just I think Moon is too good against your mana. You have only 4 vistas for the waste. It's like 6 waste total. Just too low. You would need to play some talismans, but talismans so bad on your mana curve. Also main deck K return with 0 ways to flash it back's got to be wrong. Oh, I've meant to change the hand hider. Sorry about that. I'll stay as still as possible. Saga still has colorless under Blood Moon. Okay, that does matter. And it's dumb, and that does make it better. Trying to think if Joshua's good in energy. It seems a slot as well. I think Lightning is like the way better Boros 3-drop, but I guess we'll see. Opponent is not here yet. Your thoughts on VV Orniter? My thoughts are check out my YouTube video. It's in there. It's a link pinned at the top. You can find all my thoughts on all the Final Fantasy cards. You have suggestions for K return? I mean, just don't play it in the main deck, probably. I don't know what you'd play instead. 91 players. Introduce wide no R spike. I think that might help with the people complaining about motion sickness. I think we have done no R spike. I don't know if we've done wide no R. Well. Your turn. Okay, so I'm going to crack the bauble here. See a Violent Urge. Now, I was planning on using Tide Shaper this turn to keep my Saga around forever, but I think it's actually just going to be more important that I get a Shadow Spear ASAP. So let's flip the Tamio plus the Tamio. They Lava Dart me. I'm at 19. Nice that the construct is out of bolt range. I wonder if Lava Spur Boots is better. Because I get to attack this turn because I don't have a land. I think my life total is just high enough that this is going to be better. I like that both of my constructs are lethal next turn. I like that the Tamio +1 makes the Violent Urge in their hand like not that scary either. Also turns off double mutagenic growth. Wasn't at a bold second mountain range. Yeah, that'd be okay. Winning game 1 against Prowess would be pretty nice. Dead to land, Slickshock, 4 growth Urge. Well, they can't play 4 growths there at 4 life. They don't have Delirium for the Urge. We do know they have an Urge in their hand. It's definitely going to be more powerful with the mutagenic growth. Still only 2 types for Delirium, though. I'm at 18. I mean, even if they do get in for 10 with the Channeler, I'll be at 8, so I don't know how they're getting the rest of the damage in. Yeah, right now this is just never going to get Delirium. Okay, I guess they have 3 darts. Okay, there's a 3rd type. Okay. Forgot about the 3 darts on the yard. Even if they get Delirium, this isn't close to lethal. They're super dead. And they can't mutagenic growth anymore. They do find Delirium, so now this is 10 damage in the air because of the Tamiya +1. They can dart one time more. They realize that's not enough. And we go to game 2. So I'm going to cut my Harbingers. Not that. Going to bring in the rest of the Chalices. Going to bring in the Dismember. Some amount of Force of Negations do seem kind of nice. So especially on the draw for Steel Cutter. Wouldn't hate forcing an iteration either. Let's cut the Vexing Bauble and let's cut the Lava Spur Boots. I think we could leave in the Lantern. We could also cut the Lantern because we're bringing in all these Chalices. I think because of the Chalices we'll cut it. And then I think the Tideshapers are like fine. They like can help you scam the Saga now, and sometimes they mess with your opponent's mana enough. They're also like 1 mana Merfolk for Sylvood and Flood and Hexcatcher. Seems fine. Aether Spellbomb seems like great insurance versus Urge Slickshot turn. Well, I just don't like how in play it is. Where I don't like how in play it is. Where if I have Aether Spellbomb, they're never gonna cast the Urge. I'm bringing in 4 Chalice of the Voids also, so like I can't like if I have Chalice of the Void in play, I can't replay Aether Spellbomb with Imri and loop it, which is kind of an important part when you're in on that game plan. Kind of want the 3rd Force on the draw. I don't think I want all 3 on the play. Let's keep. When Prowess leads on Preordain, it reminds me of like classic Grixis Shadow when they would lead on Serum Visions. It was just like, oh, that's great. When it plots a Slickshot show off. I'm trying to get the black and white mode. I don't see it under like the filters or anything. I can't remember how I used to do it. Wait. I did it on the stupid display capture. Let's say no to that. Thanks, Wish, for the 52. Hope you're doing well. Vexing Bauble also stops cast from plot. It does do that. So they're drawing their 3rd land here. I only got 2 clues off my Tamiya. Well, I was really hoping they'd do this. So now they've got to, like... They can flashback the dart, I guess, on the Hexcatcher. But if they do that, I could just sack the Drowner to... I guess just makes them pay 1. Yeah, we might as well. The blur on the background of like and zooms. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I agree. We've got a few other options we could be exploring for the hand hider. Pass him back. All right, we're gonna take 3. I'm gonna play 2 more Hex Catchers here. Okay, then I'm gonna go kick a Tide Shaper on the Sacred Foundry, play an Imri. Hopefully this Chalice of the Void isn't too far out of my reach. We do have Lethal on the Crackback here. They've got 4 cards in hand and 2 Slick Shot show-offs, though. If I need to sack just one thing, I guess it has to be the Imri, so I still have 8 damage on the Crackback. But it's deep in the tank. Remember that Sacred Foundry has been... They start off by tapping the Islet, and then they Lightning Bolt targeting a Hex Catcher. So if we let this resolve, I have 1 plus 3 plus 2. That's 7 damage. No, that's 6 damage. They can't play another red spell here, though. I think I need to let it go. Because if I send back with everything, then they can't tap the Islet, which is good. I'm not like full of lords to top deck here, though. Okay, I drew an island. Yeah, I mean, this basically Stone Rains the Islet, so they don't really have any mana in play. I drew not a bad card off the clue either. I do this Floodpits Drowner, and we advance to 1-0 as Merfolk over Prowess. Let's go. Probably not the best matchup ever, but our draws definitely lined up well against theirs. Feeling good about our decision to flip last second. Yeah, Drowner just like always perform his way. Like it's just one of these cards that like my evaluation is just not right on it. Like I look at it and I'm like, this card sucks, and I play with it and it just always performs pretty well. It took me so long to play with it. Emery looks weak in the Prowess matchup. Wondering if she'll shine at some point. Yeah, I mean Emery's just kind of always good when you play it for 1 mana on turn 1 and turn 2. Even like in those spots where she trades for a bolt, it's like fine. Okay, we're gonna name Wizard, probably. Although now I don't know that I'm gonna be chalicing at all this game. I think I'll just play this. So I think we're tide shaping the Eldrazi Temple. So if they have, let's see if they have the Sowing Myco Spawn. They do have the Myco Spawn. So we get pretty punished for our choice. Maybe we'll just bring in Force of Negation to counter the Talisman, and they'll never be able to resolve a Myco Spawn. Probably gonna lose. They have a Dismember. Probably not. Eurydipies. Think of the 4 months. Hope you're doing well. Spike, do I not upload challenges to YouTube? I have an editor who handles all of the YouTube uploads. He does upload some YouTube stuff or some challenge stuff, but A lot of times, like, it's not like a completely linear order that stuff gets uploaded either. But I also don't keep up with it as much as I could, so I don't know what's been uploaded lately, what hasn't been. Do I think they're any good through the breach decks right now? I mean, you can play through the breach. I don't know if there are any builds I particularly recommend, I guess. Like, surely he'll upload the Karuga top 4 run. So maybe I can flip the Tommy. I don't know if that's something I want to do, but that's a good game too. So we're going to bring in the full 4 Consigns, going to bring in the 4th Harbinger. I'm going to cut the Chalice. I'm going to cut the Vexing Bauble. I'm going to cut the Shadow Spear. I'm going to cut the Lantern. Going to keep in the Boots. Going to cut all the Drowners. Might play 1 or 2 Drowners, but I think I want the Forces also. Unironically, forcing Talisman just means they can't cast Mycospawn, and they should have Karn and K commands. We may have a little bit of a difficulty attacking through their stuff with this configuration. We do have Saga tokens, and we've got Sylvoon. It's probably fine. We're playing this in the Chally. We're 1-0. We beat Prowess in round 1. Don't know if we would have won with the Urza deck. I was just like, we played a couple matches with the Urza deck, and I thought that like cutting the Kappa Cannoneers would be fine for the mana curve. The curve just felt a little high. I mean, that's always how it feels with that deck sometimes. Like, it's a little bit high variance. So we decided to play kind of the lower variance build, I guess. Dismember and Spellbomb can help. Maybe you could play Dismember. I would never Spellbomb in against the Eldrazi stuff, really. Just don't want to bounce their things. First Dismember could be fine, yeah. It's a bit weird, right, against Seer, where you have to have the mana untapped for it to do anything. But I think on the play especially, like, you don't want to be very removal heavy if you can help it. And Sylvoon just does attack through everything, really, especially with a Hexcatcher. Or a Lava Spur Boots. All right, on the play. So this hand can draw next turn Tamio or Imri. Or Bauble, I guess. In addition to 16 lands. So the Baubles are just redraws. The Tamios and the Emrys give us 8 plus 14 good top decks, but then we have to have the land off the next one. Yeah, I think we are keeping, but it's kind of closer than it looks, maybe. Tide Shaper might be a good draw. It might not be that important, obviously, because of the Harbingers. All right, that was on our list. Dismember would be not good. The only card they could have here certainly does not interact with this Mox Amber in any way. Mill a Bauble, which is some nice equity, and we get to untap with the Emery, which is the biggest deal. Yeah, Harbinger also works the same way with Saga as Blood Moon does, which is kind of the whole idea here. Just take the 2-for-1, I think. And I guess, I might... Oh, I can't activate abilities at all. Right. We need to slam the Harbingers so we don't lose to Nattytron. They name Harbinger of the Seas. Guess that makes sense. Maybe a little bit weird. I don't know if it's a hand hider moment. I think I probably don't care enough. It's a little weird. They should have main phased the flute though. They also like played around the force like perfect, and they're also making some long ass pauses. Okay, I think if they just did this quickly and didn't pause for like 2 minutes this game, I would not hold up the hand hider. I think we'll just throw it up. I think it is. I think it's probably still the best name. It's still good sequencing, but I think the speed of their play is gonna cause me to hold this up, and hopefully they just play faster because that's really all I care about in these leagues is not having the slowest opponents ever. Yeah, I agree. Not that weird. I think I'm just gonna hold it up. They very well might not be ghosting, but I'm just gonna hold it up. An Ugin, huh? So if they have Natty Tron, they could just cast that Ugin and see if they have it. They do have Natty Tron. Pretty gross. Got 4 cards in their hand after this. Yeah, I think I do want to main phase this crack. So if they were ghosting, it's nice they didn't know about the second force of negation. If of course. It's a K command? Okay. They make spawn tokens, which is surprising since they've got we know their hand is Devour of Destiny mystery card, so I guess their mystery card is really good. Tidekeeper? Consign? Can you hear me? Could be another K command. Well, there's another K command on top. For better or for worse. It was a Karn. And they drew the other K command. They grab a Cityscape Leveler. So I did draw Tideshaper, but I drew it off the bauble. If I had drawn it a turn sooner, this game may have been winnable. The moment, I think we know the K command. We'll just go ahead and pack it in. Okay, next match. Jund Saga buffed? Yeah, also, like, there's that new red-green card that looks really good there. Like, Jund Saga might actually be kind of playable. We're not going to know until we get our hands on the Final Fantasy cards next week, though. Do you think it was worth forcing Flute in hindsight? I couldn't. They played it on my upkeep. So, you can't, I could not have forced. I only had 2 mana. Oh, no, I did have 3 mana. I had the Mox, right. I don't know. I really thought they were going to name Emery. Like, the fact that I had 2 Harbingers in my hand really sucked. But I think I still probably wouldn't have hardcast Force, because they get to tap out for the Sylvoon, have Force up. They have to have Natty Tron also, which they had. Yeah, usually I like to build this kind of stuff myself. I will say that I want to try like 8 Hierarchs and Green Sun Zenith with Tifa. And like potentially be a mono green build. Although playing Steel Cutter, like this does look really good, so this might be a better direction to go. Show off too. This might just be better, but I tend to like to build with the new cards myself. Looks solid. So we do have the Saga Harbinger thing. A little bit of a slow hand, but I think we're on the play. For its opponents on the board, so strong like they expect. Yeah, they played well. Like it's whatever. I don't think they were 100% ghosting, but. I think it's just good practice to throw up the hand hider in spots where your opponent plays around the force in your hand and they upkeep the flute when you have 2 Harbingers and they play really slow. But again, it could all be completely innocent. Doesn't really matter, right? Oh, this is the same opponent we beat in the challenge. It's funny. About Tifa with Reclaimer and Teetering Peaks. Elvish Reclaimer is just unplayable. It's just so slow and so mana intensive. Teetering Peaks is cool though. Like I kind of like the sentiment, but I just hate Elvish Reclaimer. It's just one of these cards I have had bad experience after bad experience with. So we're hoping that they play not a basic mountain here, and I can just Harbinger them. Like Tifa doesn't really need the help. Just like any pump spell that's or with not mutagenic growth, I guess, but the majority of pump spells just make Tifa pretty lethal. We may be in another spot where this is kind of the same thing against this opponent last time, was that we really wanted to get Shadow Spear in play. Let me see what they're drawing. If it's like a basic mountain, we know what to do, but obviously we want to now we know that they're not going to have any red mana maybe for the rest of the game, so we just have to race this. Yeah, unfortunately color is no longer in the budget here on twitch.tv/aspiringspike. My color rental is out of date. Okay, so if I play Sylvoon, then Odawara costs 2 mana to channel. I think instead I guess I don't need to main phase this. So Hexcatcher, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11 if I also make a construct. All right, hopefully I counted right. I think I did. Cool. Prowess matchup is great, or at least against this player. At least against this player, Prowess matchup is good. Not that they're playing poorly. Our draws just seem to line up so well against them so far. Yeah, I ended up bringing in all the forces. I ended up playing one less Tide Shaper. What was the other cut? Was it the Lantern? I think it was the Lantern, just to have less one-drops for my Chalice plan. I'm going to go pee real quick while we wait for game 2. How much time is left in the challenge? 8 matches, 40 minutes should be right about enough time to finish this league match. Let's give this one a go. Imagine drawing a Mox Amber here. Yeah, the league tracker's been like doubling up for some reason. We should only be in one league right now. Don't think there's going to be that many times where I want to try to... I might flip Tommy on next turn, actually. Don't know. What's my opinion on the whole TCG player union busting scandal? Well, I've talked a lot about this in general. Like, I left my TCG Channel Fireball contract like 3 years ago because of the same issues. I've had like multiple calls with them. I've done like long Twitter threads. I posted something on Blue Sky about it last week. But it is bad. Okay, guess I am cracking this bauble. If all I have to do is cast Emery next turn, I can still do that, but finding a Chalice would be a pretty big game. So there's a bunch of Chalices. Maybe a little slow here. Let's crack this so we can maybe find a different blue card. Think Grixis Control is worth playing or just have a good meta call? It's like an okay meta call. I'll say this, your question is it worth playing or is it a good meta call? I would say Like, what is the difference, right? It's fine. I think it's really bad against Domain Zoo, though. It's just popping up some. So let's say they're trying to Prismatic Ending my Tamio. They graveyard another show off. They Lava Dart target me. Let's see if they get Delirium off this. If I force this, they do have Delirium. I might need to force this. It's 3 damage. 8. They might have Violent Urge. What is Zoo's worst matchup? Eldrazi, Titan. Probably Titan. Not sure what how the Eldrazi matchup is. It's probably not the worst ever. They have another dart. Okay, well, I have to force this. Might be dead anyways. Maybe Shell. Still got a Monday stream to do. Well, I may take Monday just to work on deck lists. So the plan is to chump block here and then tap this. I guess it's better to tap the Channeler and hope they just have no spells. Not exactly a great plan, but it's the plan we have. Alright, well, to game 3 we go. Seeing Prismatic Ending for the Chalices, I'm even happier being in on the Force plan. I think Zoo has a lot of close matchups, probably nothing super duper lopsided. Oh, they had no blue mana, damn. Okay, maybe we could have pulled it off then. Don't think I can click the mulligan button. Bauble versus Prowess. Vexing Bauble? Maybe. Maybe Vexing Bauble's good. It's a little bit weird where I boarded all these chalices, so I want to have as few 1-drops as possible, though. Nazar with the 26 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Let's play around Mutagenic Growth, I guess. Alright, so is this Bauble in my hand worth 2 life points? And exactly 2 life points. Yeah, I don't really want to be sacking this stuff because I just want to have big constructs. One thing is, I would like way rather dismember a Slickshot Show-Off than a Swift Spear in this spot. Since this construct is likely just going to be so big that they're going to have a hard time attacking through it. So I don't think we like play the second Bauble like main phase of Dismember. Probably should sack a Clue token end of turn if they don't kill the Tamio. I don't know. Let's see what happens here. Youch. Nothing. So them having nothing probably means the Tamio is dying. I think I'm still not sacking into turn here. All right, let's go to combat first. If they have a consign, they probably would have consigned my Saga chapter here, so I don't think we should be really playing around that very hard. Yeah, so if I play the Shadow Spear this turn, I would basically need to play out my second Opal so I could have Dismember up for show off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can make my construct a 6/6 though, which survives Dart Flashback plus Bolts. So I think that that's probably going to be enough of a reason. A lot of subs. Thank you, Nazar 26, only Max with the 40, and Frenzo with the 47. I feel like I got some of y'all with it. I don't think I got all of y'all before. Just surveilling. Okay, round 2 of the challenge is about to start. This is actually the player we beat in round 1 of the challenge. Same matchup. Meltdown. That would be bad. I haven't seen a lot of meltdowns lately. I think I'm gonna make a construct anyways. We gotta get this match done. Sacking a Clue token would have been better if we feel like we wanted to play around Meltdown. Another Wear Tear is pretty good. Let's dismember the Swift Spear now. Steel Cutter on top. All right, I'm going to play Sylvoon this turn instead of flipping the Tamio. Shadow Spear on Sylvoon's pretty good. We're probably going to get Steel Cuttered here. 3 cards left in their hand after this. An ending on the Shadow Spear would suck. Alright, let's not lose our Sylvoon to like a mutagenic growth. Kind of seems like they have a growth. They probably don't want to fire it off though because of the whole 2 spells a turn situation. A Violent Urge though, a lot of damage. So we're probably going to flip the Tamio, so I think we can attack with it and play a second copy. That's a good pickup. Our round started. So now if I flip the Tamio, I can't play second Tamio, but I think that's okay. Let's finish this match and then we'll get started. Last seen 9 days ago on white blue. Do blue white players ever change, I wonder? Let's got 1 card in their hand left here. It's another Lava Dart? Yeah, that does kill me. Or, no, does it put me to 1 because of the Tamio? It does put me to 1 because of Tamio. Oh, no, 0 because they just dart me. Wow, their hand was double Lava Dart there. Okay, so we lost to this player in the league. We beat him in the challenge, though. GG's to them. I'm a guy who pushed you a few times Japanese foil version of the stack back at GPs.